Oh my God, is that the faces of the future? Welcome to an all new episode of the Faces of the Future podcast. It's your boy Myles. I'm sitting here in the compound with Jerry Morris today. How you doing today, bro?
Yo, man, doing great, man. I'm blessed.
Yeah. How's your day going so far?
Man, it's gone, man. We had some good weather yesterday, so.
Yeah, how you enjoying? You a cold guy or you like a warm weather type of guy?
Nah, warm weather kind of.
Yeah?
I can't stand the cold.
Why is that?
Cause, man, we black. We come from Africa and islands, man. We can't be doing this cold. Man.
Yeah. So I forget. I think where I originally met you, I might have been walking through Rec. I believe I had met you in.
You met me at it was this spot that we were I was shooting the little content with my cousin.
Okay.
And there was food there, but you was off to the side. You saw that we was like I was doing like some type of editing.
Yeah.
You was like, yo, what do you do? And then boom, we just started talking.
You remember where that was at?
I can't. It was some spot, some random spot.
Yeah.
Where it was like a nice little spot, coffee shop. I think it was like a coffee shop.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, I know it was Bean to Bean. That's what it was. We were in Bean to Bean sitting
right.
there, and I seen you. I seen like your water bottles. I was like, "What are y'all?" I was like,
Yeah,
"What are y'all?"
what are y'all doing?
Yeah, y'all were shooting some content or something like that. And I was like, "What are y'all doing?" So, are you normally like? Is that normally how you network? So just meeting people, things of that nature?
Nah, honestly, like when people like this, how I think of it. Like sometimes people just end up coming up to you. Like me, if I see something that's like interesting, then I might make my way to go introduce myself to somebody. But like a lot of times it's more so like events that I'm at where I'm like selling bottles or I'm like posted up to just kind of not even sell bottles, but to create an experience to like interact with people. That's most of the time how I end up meeting people. And also through social media, people stay DMing us trying to, reach out, talk to the founder, stuff like that. So
yeah, before we get into like the water bottle stuff, like what were you doing before like business? Like I know your business is doing its thing. I've seen a lot of partnerships you've been doing recently, but before that, like who was Gary Morris before the water bottle company?
Right. So, I mean, I was a sales rep, man. I went to college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was one of those first generation kids where, like, you never really know what you want to do. You know what I mean? It's like your parents are just, like, happy that you in college. You could be doing communications or you could be doing art, whatever. A lot of these things might not make no money after you graduate, but you don't know. You just like, right. I'm first generation. So I did public administration. They have no clue what I was doing, but while I was in school, I was always trying to start a business. Like if you knew any of my friends, everybody, I'll tell you, man, like I've been trying to start businesses for the longest. So I got into car sales. Like, I had a homie that had his own dealer plates and stuff like that. So I used to be able to go to the auction, sell cars. Yeah. I used to start selling items on like Amazon. But like for my occupation, I worked for McKesson Medicals, like a big sales company. And from there, that I started to see like a lot of white label products and that they would like try to get us to sell. Yeah. So, and I was doing so well there, I was just like, man, I need to figure out a way to just like create my own product. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, I've always just had a sales background, always been like a hustler trying to create businesses and stuff.
So was SUPLMNT like the first product that you tried making, or is that just you kind of like trial and error, and then we fell into this?
Actually, no, that's actually the very first product I actually tried to make. Like on Amazon, I was selling random products, and they had this platform called Jungle Scout, where you can go in there and find like the top selling items. And I was doing pet products at one point. Right. I was just doing a bunch of random shit. But then I eventually, discovered the insulated bottle industry. And that's when I was just like, yo, like I've never even heard of none of these brands before. Right. I'm like, I think it might be something here. Yeah. So kind of that's kind of, it's like I stumbled across the bottle industry. I always tell people that like I wasn't like, oh, I want to create the first black on water bottle. Yeah. Like, nah, like I stumbled across that shit. It just kind of like happened. It just like happened. You know what I'm saying?
No, definitely. And I was reading an article this week just about like your company, what you've been doing, and like what kind of inspires you to get into it. You were talking about just like the difference in like health in like the black community versus like other races and things 100%. Of that nature, like coming up. And what I related to was like you were talking about like how growing up we would just drink juice and Kool-Aid, we were hydrated as opposed to like water, and like that's 100% true. I can remember the days when I'm running around. You talking about summertime, running around, you thirsty. I don't want to drink no water. Let me, where's Gatorade? Where's Kool-Aid? Where's whatever? Just seeing that and the effects, like, was that like a big part of the reason why you wanted to get into this, or tell me about like when you were coming up, like what was I guess the health education you had growing up? You're from South Jersey, right?
Nah, I'm from actually South Philly.
South Philly, okay.
Yeah. So I would say there was no teaching about health and wellness at all
Okay.
growing up, like especially in the hood. Like I mean, it's like you just grow up like the kids across the street, teeth was falling out. Like my mom at least, tried to, she got us to the dentist and like, stuff like that. But when it comes to like the stuff we were drinking and eating, there was no police and none of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, here go a quarter, go to the corner store and get you some candy. Like, shut up, get out of my face.
Right.
So it's more so like, you know what I mean? Like Kool-Aid, pouring the 2 cups of sugar and just like, it's like we really, like when growing up, you never really realized like how unhealthy like we really was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like we was living off the Chinese store, living off the corner store, just eating chips, just drinking Kool-Aid, drinking, the Hugs or quarter water, whatever you want to call them. And, when I got older and I started to realize that so many people in the Black community was just plagued with like diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, all these different things. And people try to say that it's hereditary. And I'm like, man, the main thing that's hereditary is the habits that we have. It's because, like, if you've seen your parents do this, like, some people have never seen their parent do any type of physical activity.
Yep.
Or you never see your parent, like, consciously be like, let me go drink some water. Like, so in return, that's how we grow up. So we don't grow up thinking, like, man, we should probably drink more water. Or we should probably work out. It's funny because when I'll work out and I'll be around my family, I'm like, yeah, I'm working out. They be like, yeah, are you training for something? I'm like, no, this is like a regular thing. Like, we should regularly exercise our bodies. We should regularly drink water. It's not something that you do once you get a bad report from the doctors, because that's what Black people like to do. Yeah. Once they get a bad report, they're like, oh man, I need to do something about my eating. Yeah. It's like, nah, nigga, you should have been. Like, don't wait till you get this bad report to start making some changes.
And some people don't even go to the doctor to go get that report. Right. It's like they just thriving off life or whatever.
Exactly.
And until something drastic happens, like you said, the hereditary thing. That's something I hear all the time. It's like, it's diabetes or whatever. It's like it's like nah. So the points you made about like our habits are bad. It's like, that's 100% true. Mm-hmm. So I mean, from your perspective, someone that's in the industry, what would you encourage people to do to like change the habits or change the trajectory of their family's habits so they're not in those predicaments?
I mean, it's really about educating yourself, honestly. It's like kind of realizing that, you're probably dehydrated and you don't even know it. Because it's like when people think about the amount you're supposed to drink per day, like people are drinking, like, oh yeah, I drink my like 2 or 3 bottles of water, and it's like, yo, that's nowhere near enough water
at all.
You know what I'm saying? So like your body's actually super dehydrated, and that's what affects the organs, like your kidneys and your liver. All that stuff needs proper hydration to function properly.
Right.
And a lot of us just don't even know. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't know better, so you're not going to do better. So that's really one of the main missions that I wanted to have behind SUPLMNT, was to create that awareness on the importance of drinking water in urban communities, because there's nobody that's actually doing it. You have the other brands that care more about the environment. It's more like save the fishes, the plastic and stuff like that. We get all of that by default because we're a reusable water bottle brand. But, you know what I mean, we want to use our platform to constantly push hydration, so that way we can kind of reach people at a younger age, or, make people more aware at the age that they are now, and then we can kind of like overall impact like the urban culture and that, like, success to me will be overall impacting the whole urban culture, to have like everybody way more conscious about drinking the proper amount of water every day.
Yeah, and how do you plan to push that narrative? I know like the water bottle is one thing. It's like it's gonna go like with branding, like how you storytelling through like your socials. I see you real active on socials and like the stuff that you push. Like, how do you envision, or your team? How do you guys envision that? Like, I guess from now, maybe like 3, 4, 5 years from now.
Yeah. So I mean, right now we're pretty much trying to build the catalog of the bottles, try to build more inventory, so that way we can kind of grow fast. And while we do this, we pretty much are trying to create we got this whole like mock-up of like what do you call it? They're like hydration stations. So like certain areas in urban communities, the water is dog shit. It's like, it's trash water. You know what I mean? You got so many cities that people don't like. We always like, no offense to Africa, people always be like, oh, let's do this in Africa. Blah, blah. Right. But there's so many places here in the States that the water is trash.
In the city alone.
Yeah, like even this city I'm in right now. Then right where I'm in Jersey now, like in Newark, they got like lead in the water. It's like craziness. Yeah, so it's like there's so many places where people don't have access to clean water. So we are, making it a mission that, as we grow, we have somebody that's designing it, but we have to have the funds to pay for it.
Right, 100%.
But we want to be able to create these hydration stations and pop them up in several major cities, and maybe work with a Boys and Girls Club or a YMCA, where people can come there and fill up their jugs of water at no charge. Or if there is a charge, it's like very minimal. Right. You know what I mean? Where you can go in there and you can, fill up gallons of water and have actual clean water that you can feel confident drinking.
Would that be kind of be like a partnership? Like if you have a water bottle, like one of your water bottles, you can do that at the station, like kind of like how a Tesla thing is with like the energy, or is it more so of like, all right, anybody can come, or you got to be like part of the brand with the supplement bottle and all that kind of stuff?
It's funny because we always talk about that. It's like I think that we'll probably create some type of jug system where it's like just big old BPA free, of course, plastic jugs where you can like fill up and just bring to your house. So it's not necessarily going to be like a supplement play. It's more so we're using supplement to fund a project on the grand scheme of things, like a bigger agenda. So it's not really like, oh, you got to have a supplement bottle to use this. We would rather you go there with like a big gallon or a big like 5-gallon jug so you could just fill up so you have enough water for like the week type. So it's like, it's not really like a supplement. You got to have a supplement bottle play.
Why do you think it's like not a real big initiative for, like, you see places like Flint, we talk about Newark that has lead in their water. Why do you think it's not like a big initiative for, I guess, like these government officials to have a quicker call to action or do things to change that, knowing it's affecting the day to day? Do you think it's like because of just the area in which it's affecting, the demographic of it, or what?
For sure. And I also think it's more so one of those things. I'm not a conspiracy guy, but I will say that, certain urban areas, of course, nobody really cares about those areas. And they make more money off us being sick than they do being healthy. So it's like, people probably found cures of cancer, but like, why would they put that out? Because now you're killing the profit margins. Now so many people can't be on chemo all the time. So it's the same thing. It's like they're not going to use our dollars to make us healthier. Like, why would they do that? You know what I mean? So, that's where we come in. We gonna be the ones to try and grow so much and be like one of the biggest brands in the country. So that way our voice is gonna be massive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we can even change the narrative and kind of force their hand. It's like bringing awareness, like, yo, why isn't this happening? So I think these are topics and conversations that should be had.
Oh, 100%. So we're talking, at the beginning you create SUPLMNT.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you start beginning to think about the identity of like the water bottle? Because I see you can customize your water bottle. You can do a lot of different things with it. You can make it, personalize it to like the things that you like. So where did that idea come from when it came to just launching a brand?
Yeah, so I mean, when I first started it, it was actually a replica because I didn't even know I didn't have any connections with any factories in the beginning, so I had to create like a knockoff just to see if people would even like want to buy water bottles. You know what I'm saying? So after I had my little test run and I ran into got my bottles out to a bunch of people, everybody just like, oh, kept myself cool, da da da. So that's when I was like, yeah, I got to take this thing seriously. So I connected with a black industrial designer. My guy Ish, and we sat down, we put together a bunch of ideas, and we wanted the bottle to have different concepts that was like could easily resonate with the urban culture,
right? And
one of those things is sneakers. You know what I mean? I feel like most people within urban culture are just like, we love fashion, we love staying fresh, having nice sneakers and stuff like that. So I was like, how can I get a product that this big demographic typically does not like look into or buy? How can I get create something that's easily relatable to them? So we decided to put a bunch of different elements into our bottle that kind of resembled like sneaker culture. Yeah, because we wanted people to be able to match the bottle to your outfits. Because most of the bottles on the market was trash to me. I was just like, they don't look cool. I feel like they, it's just like. And when I started, this was before the big Stanley craze, you know what I mean? But even when those came out, it's like these big ugly bottles that you got to hold with the handle and just like, you know what I mean? So I wanted to make sure that we created something that was just like dope. So we put the rubber, the bottom of a Jordan 1, the rubber bottom on the sneaker on the bottom, and then we had the shoestring carrying loop where you can like have different color over molds and stuff like that for your bottle. Put like texture on the lid to kind of resemble the concrete, the streets that we all grew up on. It's like a bunch of different cool stuff. So as we started to grow, I was trying to figure out a way that I could keep the lights on, because it's like, in the beginning, it's like I got to create content. I got to figure out how can I create the tribe, get people to start knowing who we are and recognizing us. Because of course we start from extremely humble beginnings. We didn't have like somebody that just like invested $1 million in us or 500,000 so we could like really go crazy. So everything was just like off me. You know what I'm saying? Like some super grassroots shit. So I pretty much developed the custom water bottle program because I got some different partners here in the States. and I was like, yo, how can I sell way more bottles without just it being like direct to consumer? So I figured out a way to customize water bottles, and I started offering it as like a program because, like I said, I was in sales.
Right.
I offered it like a program to companies like, yo, if you got an events, employee give backs, we could do your customization. We offer laser etch, full wraps, digital print, So it turns out it was a big pain point in these other companies because Hydro Flask and Yeti would only give you like a little small area that you can customize. Like, oh, you can put your logo right here. That's it. So I was like, okay, well, we'll offer you the whole bottle. Like, you could put anything you want on the entire bottle. And plus our product is just as premium. Our turnaround times are quick. Our order minimum isn't too crazy. So, because of that, people started to just like file in. Yeah. And then actually, Warby Parker was actually my very first corporate order customer.
How'd that come about?
So I did a custom bottle for this artist out of Vegas. His name was Pretty Done. And he paints like murals for like different companies and stuff like that. So he was painting this huge mural for Warby Parker, and he ended up having the bottle there. And they were just like, hey, I've never seen that brand before. Because believe it or not, a lot of these companies have been buying Hydro Flask and Yetis for years.
Right.
So, it's exciting when you get a new product on the market. You know what I mean? Especially one that's like, that speaks to urban culture and has more of that urban feel that the world is starting to finally adopt. So they saw that, and they were just like, yo, introduce it. So he pretty much hit me up. And mind you, at this time, I didn't even know who Warby Parker was because, I didn't wear glasses. So they ended up hitting me up, and then they ended up placing like a $50,000 order with me. It was fucking crazy. So that was the first time that I was just like, okay, so, people have budgets, and they'll buy like, 5,000-6,000 bottles at a time versus selling it one by one. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna put a lot of my energy into this custom water bottle side, so that way I can use the funds to like grow the direct to consumer, get you guys more sizes, more colors, get better with creative stuff like that. So
you say you started from grassroots humblings, and then you get this $50,000 purchase.
Crazy.
What's that feeling like? Because you know how it is, that grind, like grinding from the start. It's like, all right, I'm trying to figure out where my entry point is going to be. Like you said, you did the trial in there, had the replicas, and then you get this $50,000 order. What was that feeling like? Did it give you a boost of confidence or what?
Gave me the boost, man, because it's like, while you're going through entrepreneurship, and a lot of people don't talk about it, but it's like, first of all, it's an extremely lonely road. Two, you're going to doubt yourself. It's like imposter syndrome, where it's like, you don't see stuff. Like, you think you got a good idea, and it probably is, but you don't see it happening, like, quickly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's so easy to just, like, let stuff get in your head, get discouraged, and be like, oh, man, like, I don't know if this is going to work. Like, I need to, maybe I need to pivot. Maybe I need to do something else. But I would say I was just really staying consistent with it. And then when something like that happens, it's like, oh, it's like a breath of fresh air, because you're like, I created something, and this company that's huge, that does millions of dollars, chose us and then wrote me a check. Like, when I got the deposit and I checked the account, I was like, oh shit. I was just like, yo, like, we really just made $50,000. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And that gave me the boost to be like, all right, I need to go find another one.
Yeah.
And another one.
Yeah.
And another one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it was.
So is that how it went? Did another one come, or kind of was like a?
Nah, it was a pause. It was definitely a pause. First of all, I had to, like, when I got them as a customer, I had none, like, the paperwork and all that stuff to, like, send over to them, like, catalog. I had none of that. So I was literally creating it on the fly. I'm like, they're like, do you do customer? I'm like, yeah, I do. You know what I mean? Because I was like, like, I came from sales background, so I was just like, I'm gonna figure this part out. Like, I know typically what a purchase order is supposed to look like. I know. You know what I mean? And I had my pricing. I knew that I could deliver, but I didn't have all the, like, professional stuff, ready to go. And I will say that that's definitely, like, something that people should take heed to. It's just like, you're never going to be fully ready. You know what I'm saying? So you need to just, like, when the opportunity comes, you need to just jump on that joint. Because that's pretty much what I did, because the opportunity had came, and if I was just, like, trying to be a perfectionist or a stiffler, I could have been like, oh, well, we're still developing the program, and boom, I lose that order. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to figure that joint out. I got to deliver on time, and they actually like, Warby Parker has ordered from me every year for the past 4 years.
That's major.
Like, they're my longest customer. I have one of their orders is about to deliver now to their warehouse, another 1,000-bottle order. So, yeah.
Tell me this, because in this generation now, like, people are against, I guess, I call it the process. Like whether it's they just think they can be entrepreneur off the jump, they don't think they ever have to experience the 9 to 5 and all that type of stuff. The thing that stuck out to me the most was like the story that you just told was you referenced back to your sales experience where it's like, all right, I got to learn on the fly. Like, do you think that helped a lot in the growth of your business and like figuring shit out just like that specific moment?
Oh yeah, because I was an account manager, so it's pretty much like if I lose an account, they're coming at me. So it's like I had to understand how to grow, not just manage a territory, but how to grow the territory. How to, I did a role that called retention and recovery where you had to like find out what was the problem with that customer and try to bring them back. So I feel like all of those things helped me, be who I am today. Like as far as like how I take on the business, just like trying to problem solve. That's really all it is problem solving.
Right.
And I think that the younger generation now is just so, because we're so quick with like instant gratification. Like stuff has to happen quickly. When you think about like, I'm not sure how old you are. How old are you? Just
turned 30.
Right. So I'm about like 5 years older than you. But like when
really,
yeah, I'm about to be 35 on April 14th, which is funny because that was on the thing.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like growing up, it's like when we had to watch TV shows, it was like based on what came on TV at that time. Like Saturday was the day that cartoons were heavy on TV.
Yep.
And it's funny because like now kids have just so like with Netflix and stuff, you just got access to everything. Like you don't have to wait for nothing. Like before we had to wait for an episode to come out. Now you could just go there and binge watch the whole thing. So I just feel like the times have just changed. So like people are just so much, they see somebody like a glow up and they don't really realize that the person's been like grinding for like years. Like even the boy Kai Cenat that's been on he was doing the streaming thing for a minute before he actually blew up. But it's like all you see is the blow up and you like, oh man, like this is how everything's supposed to go. Like, nah, you got to put in the work. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's just one of those things that I think that separates like a successful entrepreneur from people that probably won't be, is because, you willing to have that grit to just like consistency and just keep it going. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And then let's keep moving along forward. So you have these businesses that are getting orders year after year, consistent clientele. You recently just got an investment for Gary Payton,
right? Yeah.
So I seen Steph Curry rocking your water bottle in the tunnel. The tunnel shots. You seen him carrying your water bottle. Yeah. So what was that feeling like seeing superstars, seeing world champions walking around with your product?
Yeah. It's crazy. So the corporate orders was just like a branch of the business, but it wasn't the main thing. Like I never really wanted to do those. I wanted to do direct to consumer. I wanted everybody in the world to be walking around with a supplement bottle. So I would say that the corporate orders pretty much was like the seed money to like create more, to like be able to build more on the direct to consumer side. So like bringing on Gary Payton was just like, it was like a breath of fresh air to like have somebody, because it's like we're in a day and age where it's just like hard to get that visibility that like we needed. It's like we have like a very top product, but it's like, excuse me, how can we get this product to the masses? How can we get more people to get eyes on it? Because once people get one and they're using it, they're big fans after that. But it's like, how do we get this in front of the people? So it's like, teaming up with somebody like a unicorn like Gary Payton, it's just like, he can effortlessly add the bottles into his lifestyle because he's an athlete. You got to drink water. So it's like one of those match made in heavens. And we actually gifted like the team water bottles for the holidays. And it's funny when it's like you're on social media and then you see, Steph Curry in a picture on like a tabloid, like using a bottle. Yeah. And I talked to Gary. He's like, yeah, I didn't tell him to use that joint. Like he actively uses it. He'd be on a plane with that joint all the time. So it's a testament to know like, all right, the product is a good product. You know what I mean? Because he's Steph Curry. I mean, and the same thing when somebody sent me the stuff of like Jay-Z in the Hamptons with the bottle. I'm just like,
it's crazy.
I'm like, yo, like these guys have so many options. They could, they could use any other water bottle, and they're using ours. So that's like a testament to the quality of the bottles, and the fact that, of us doing what we're doing and doing it right. Because it's like a slow process on like growing, and like year after year you start to see more happen, and then the following year you start to see more happen. It's just like, it's just funny just to like see how the levels have changed. And then this year we planning on like really like, taking it to that next level.
Let's stay on the investment piece. Like, how do those conversations come about? Like, for somebody that's listening that wants to kind of like follow in your footsteps, do something that's similar, whether it's with the water bottle or whatever product you're doing. How does a relationship start with a guy like Gary Payton? How do you pitch a product to someone like him or just someone of that stature? Like, how did you go about doing that?
Yeah, so I would say, it's like proper preparation. Like I feel like you should be prepared for anything. Like making sure like the house is clean, like everything in behind the under the hood is all cleaned up and ready to go. So that way when opportunity comes, like you already was prepared for it. Like so opportunity means preparation. It's one of those things where it's like I wasn't planning on meeting him. It was just like when the time came, we had everything behind the scenes ready. Like the numbers was right. Like, you know what I mean? We was up to date on our taxes, and like, I mean, the business structure was already a corporation, so we could, give equity and stuff like that. It's so many little things that like when we call ourselves a startup, but like a strong startup, you know what I mean? So it's just the different conversations that were being had. Like one of the guys on my team is like a guy, he's like a global marketing manager for Adidas, and we have done several different runs and bottles for Adidas. We just did the Adidas McDonald's basketball bottle for the event they just had in New York, and but because of that, when we seeded bottles to them, like these bottles, you never know whose hands these bottles are going to get into in the hands of. That's the cool thing about the water bottles, and that's why we put all that information on the bottom. But one of the guys was just like, yo, this joint is dope. I gave one to my guy that I manage, and he's like, he's been using the bottle every day. He's rocking with it. Are y'all looking for investors? And I'm just like, yeah, we actually were, because we were trying to come out with our next size. We were trying to do another inventory order. Right. We were just trying to figure things out. So it was funny because I was just like, actually we are. I'm just like, well, who's the person? And then it's like, oh yeah, you ever heard of Gary Payton from the Warriors? I was just like, of course. Like,
said, of course.
Yeah, let's set it up. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like one of those things where it's just like, as long as you're doing good business and as long as you're you're presenting the company right, there are people that's going to be talking about it, without you. You know what I mean? Like people like that conversations were happening and people were using a bottle and thinking about it like without me actually doing anything at that very moment. So that's why I say it's just more so like, preparing as if you're going to get reached out by an investor like any day. You know what I mean? So it's pretty much how you present yourself.
What's like the ultimate vision for the brand? Do you want to be like partner with like a major sports league like the NBA or MLB or like a soccer league, that type of thing? Or you kind of just want to be on, all right, I'm going to take partnerships as they come?
We the Black Yeti. You know what I mean? We trying to come out. I'm trying to be the water bottle, like extremely, like the if you see any, more so like the Dre Beach. You know how Dre Beach kind of like just took over? That's my vision for SUPLMNT. It's more so like the water bottle industry is extreme. It's a growing industry. People are doing away with plastic, microplastics in your water, stuff like that. People are just getting way more conscious. And there was no bottle that was gearing their product toward the culture intentionally. Now, of course, as people start to see what we're doing and stuff like that, these brands are going to try and do it. But like, it's not authentic to culture because first of all, you don't even know who the founder of any of these brands are. Right. They're all owned by big corporations and companies that really can care less about who's buying it as long as somebody's buying it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they can't, they can try to, reach out to some type of celebrity that just needs some bread right now. So they'll pay them all this money to like post and say that they're using it versus us. We got different athletes and celebrities that are just using it because it's like, you understand it's like, we authentic to culture. When you look at our brand, you resonate with it. You know what I mean? When you look at the brand story, you resonate with it. You can understand that that the problem that's in the urban community when it comes to hydration, and you can see like, yo, with a person like you, with your support, you can help push this narrative. Like, so it's more of a mission-based brand, and it's more of a like, it's a culture thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you're a part of the culture, you know what I mean? You should be using a SUPLMNT bottle. It's just that. So that's pretty much how we rocking with it. And then, of course, we're creating premium product, but we're not killing you on price. But
was that important for you?
That was very important for me because I felt like a lot of the brands, the price was just so out of reach. And it's just like, I feel like, based on what we pay for it, of course you gotta make it money. You gotta keep the lights on. But, making sure that the product is premium but also affordable for the people that's buying it, to me was highly important. So it's just like we're just still developing a bunch of different stuff. We got coolers. We got a whole bunch of stuff that's on the pipeline. Yeah. It's just like, working with, being with the culture and getting the support and growing. You're going to see a lot more cool stuff happening, a lot more cool stuff coming out.
If I'm a potential consumer, potential customer, how do I go about like ordering a customized bottle? Like, what's the process like from like I guess inception to completion?
Yeah. So if you're ordering a custom bottle, it's an MOQ. So you got to order a certain amount of bottles for us to do a custom. And then there's like separate pricing and stuff like that. But we have ads that flow around that people, it's like a whole form that you fill out, or you could just shoot us an email, info@supplement.com. And, one of our team members will reach out, and it's the process is so seamless, man. We send out a message. We find out like how many bottles, when you need it, and what designs are you looking for. We get you over a template. The person then, drops their logos or whatever artwork they have. Then you have the option to set up a call if your artwork is more intricate, or maybe like the number you needed is very large and you wanted to, just get more information, more clarity. We set up a quick call. I'll probably be the one on there, and we pretty much, go over everything that you need when you need it by, get the digital mock-up over to you so you can see exactly how your bottle will look before production.
Right.
Then the bottles go into production. We do like a 3-week lead time. Once that's done, bottles are shipped out the door on your front step for your event, festival, whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like a super simple, easy process. And that's one of those things that's one of our value props, because a lot of times dealing with custom work, it's just like difficult.
Yeah.
People can't meet the time demand. People, so many limitations in design and stuff like that. So we check all the boxes when it comes to customization, man. Sign up, man.
How important is it for you to? How important is it for you to? Because you said sometimes you'll be on the call. Like I know there's gonna be a point in time where you're not gonna be able to do that. Like the company's gonna get so big. But so how important is that for you to still be a part of the QC, the quality control aspect? Yeah. And then when that point in time comes where you have to kind of like step away and like really go get business, what's that process you think gonna be like, finding someone who can step in and do that quality control part?
I think it's just highly important that as a founder or CEO, like, you should know how every single portion of your business works. So that way it makes it so much easier to bring on somebody and train them and tell them exactly how they're supposed to do the job. That's one of those things that it's like every business, when it starts, most of the time you're running like a goose with your head cut off. You just literally got to do everything. But like the quality control, when it comes to the custom orders, I like to have my hands on that, just because, like in the beginning, like, your reputation is everything. And I feel like all these customers that come to us, like Intuit, QuickBooks, Cash App, C4, like all these big names, they come to us and they trust us because like the order is going to be handled perfectly. It's going to get delivered on time. Our customer service is fantastic. So it's like one of those things where like I want to keep my hands on it. And then as I start to bring people on, which we do have other reps and stuff that I'm starting to bring on, it's like I'm most of the time I'm on those calls too, just to make sure quality control. But people that we bring on, we trust them. They're doing their thing. Everybody understands the standard that they got to keep. So, but I do think that, me being in it and doing it first, it makes me a better teacher.
100%.
Put somebody on.
Do you ever think about doing like, how you kind of like emulate the sneaker industry and stuff like that? Are you guys gonna do like your own drops of like, oh, this is a specific water bottle, limited edition?
We got a crazy drop happening this year, and I can't even really talk about it.
Yeah.
But like, it's somebody that's doing major waves in the sneaker game, and we got about 1,000 bottle order about to drop. Probably this June. It's gonna be a super dope connection. The bottle, everything is still being made. We're still like finalizing stuff, so it's a little too premature for me to talk about it. But yes, we are gonna be doing limited edition drops. Even with another big brand that's been courting us, that's talking about doing some limited edition stuff. So we like to push our blanks, but we do like to have these like cool limited edition drops that'll never ever come out again. And people, like, once it comes out, you got to get it. You know what I mean? So
nah, definitely
changing the game.
And as you continue to grow too, I mean, you're a black founder, you're a black CEO.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of like the trials or obstacles that you've been facing as being a black founder, black CEO, trying to get your product out there in the market. I'm sure you've come across a lot of obstacles doing that. So tell me a little bit about that and what it's been like. Yeah,
so I'm trying to get your product in the market, like, as a black founder. Of course, it's extremely difficult when it comes to even getting your product developed. And everything that you wear, everything that's like, even in this room, even this mic, everything has like a mold, that they get done overseas or wherever you're manufacturing your stuff. And create that mold, it's highly expensive. You know what I mean? It's a one-time cost, but like, it's just like you have to put out that money to like get your product developed and created if you're in the product space. So it's just like trying to get the funding and stuff like that to get this stuff done. It was the most difficult portion of this entire thing, because a lot of times in other cultures, their family has, money, or like people like, oh, family and friends. I'm like, I don't got nobody in my family and friends that's going to give me $50,000.
Right.
Ain't nobody. Everybody care about their money too much in the black community.
Yep.
Like, but what is it? All right, man. So when you gonna pay me back, man? You know what I mean? So it's like it makes it highly difficult growing up or like being like an urban or black and brown people where you're trying to get those funds. And it's funny because the guy that owns the Sixers, I was just watching this video that he was talking about where he like went and bought all of these sneakers from this guy that it was like 300,000 pair of sneakers, and the guy was charging him I think like $6 a sneaker. So he was like, oh yeah, he's like, I bought these sneakers for $300,000, and then he goes and calls his friend that's a banker and is like, yo, I got this opportunity. I bought this for $6, and I'll be able to sell it for 15. It'll, the profit will be like 1.2 million or something like that. He's like, yo, he's like, oh, so what you telling me for? He's like, because you're gonna lend me the money. And then the guy's like, oh, okay, and the guy lends him $300,000 to buy them sneakers. And then there's people in the comments like, see, I'm just like, listen. There is nobody in my phone catalog or any of my friends' catalog that can call that way. I'm like, that's just some privileged shit right there.
100%.
If you ask me, because I'm like, I don't know anybody that will lend me that would have lent me $300,000 when I tell them that I got this idea and this product, and if I sell this, even with the numbers, like, because I have the numbers now. I'm like, hey, yeah, if I buy this amount, this is how much we'll make, and people still be weary about it. You know what I mean? Because people are so attached to their money. So I would say that was definitely one of the most difficult things. And then, I had to go the VC route and try to figure out how to raise money that way. But to me, raising money has been the hardest. And then, just trying to figure out, how to really speak the language of water bottles to the urban culture. Like how can I get them to resonate with it, to understand the benefits of using one, the attributes, to adopt the style of like, yo, you should be using this, matching it with your outfits, and stuff like that. Being at the beach, like you should remember, like grab that, because it's funny when I was like going through the whole motions of like starting a brand, and I was like having second thoughts, and then I had went to Bimini, and it was like a little island off the coast of Bahamas, and I'm sitting there in the water, and I see like all the white people with their Yetis in the water, just like having a good time drinking their drink. And then I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And I look over, I see all the black people, and everybody has like the cup from the resort. You know what I mean? Like ocean water all getting in your cup and shit. And it's like, and I'm just like, yo, I'm like, I have to do this. You know what I mean? I'm like, we don't have a bottle that's us. Like, we don't have a bottle that speaks to us. So, that was one of the main things where I was just like, yo, I got to create this bottle. But of course, it just takes time. It takes time. Like, all this stuff takes time, like to develop the product, to get it shipped here, to get like all this stuff just takes time. But like, I feel like we're definitely on a good track.
Definitely. You talk about like the Rolodex of people like not be able to reach out to somebody to give you X, Y, and Z. Right. So like when you get to that point, because you are going to get to that point based off, I believe in the brand, and things of that nature, and like where you guys are headed currently. How do you plan to like reach back and kind of change that narrative or shift that thing within the culture? Like the water bottles are doing one thing, but like I guess giving back, reinvesting in maybe the next generation entrepreneurs or people that are going to need that.
That's huge, man. I mean, that's one of the things that keep me up at night. Like, I wish, you know what I mean? Yeah. I can't wait to have the opportunity to be able to speak to and help out that next entrepreneur, because I know exactly what you're going through. I know exactly how hard it is, and I know how there's so many of these like mogul influencers in the black culture where it's like, they act like they're trying to give you some game or help you out or give you information when they really not. You know what I mean? They just like want you to buy this ebook. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of times it's just like, you know what I mean? It's like having access to funds, having access to people that'll actually like hear your idea and stuff like that. I think that's just huge. I think that we need more like that. We need more people that are willing to give people game, to hear ideas, and if they're good, people invest in them. You know what I mean? Because every idea is not a good idea.
Oh, true.
So,
I mean, when your idea first started, did anyone tell you that ain't it?
Oh, everybody. You know what I mean? People were just like, people didn't understand water bottles. Like, yeah, I'm telling you, everybody was just like, because I remember I was about to start this app too. I was like going to start this app at the same time I was starting the bottles. Right. And then people was like, oh, yeah, that app, that's a good idea. Because them bottles, I don't really understand. I don't think, I mean, that shit ain't going to work. So it's just like so many people, because it's like, when I was doing my research and everything like that, like this is back in like 2017, 2018. I was like, I saw that Hydro Flask has sold in 2012 for $220 million. And I was just like, well, damn, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like a water bottle brand got acquired for 200 and something thousand, and that was in 2012. I'm like,
Right.
it's 2018, and they were geared toward the affluent white America and people that are like living in Oregon and surfing and shit like that. So
Yeah.
I was just like, yo, you know, if I can create one that's geared toward culture, and then the culture adopts it, like this is a way more better. It's a way cooler brand, you know, because we're doing it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I just was like, so I seen the earning potential from it, you know, from the jump. But people, you know, because people don't be understanding that stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody, most people just like look at ideas that you have, and they gonna shoot them down just because it might be something in themselves
Yeah.
that they never accomplished or they never was able to pursue, and they just like kind of want to bring you down. So it's just one of those things where you just gotta have that self what do you call it, like, you got to believe in yourself, honestly, because nobody else is going to do it. And then nobody, you know what I mean? So as long as people are give you that negative energy, if you accept it, then you probably would just stop. But me, I was just different. You know
Nah, definitely. And before we start the rap, where'd the name come from? I didn't even ask you. Where did the name from? What's the root of that?
Yeah, so supplement is funny because water is the body's most important supplement. So that's how we came up with the name, because water is the body's most important supplement. But the name originally was going to be Antidote. And it's a funny story. So I had just got the prototypes done, and we were about to do our first like T1 sample, like where we was gonna send the actual bottle over. But you know, something told me like, yo, have a lawyer look into this name. And I was just like, all right. I reached out to a lawyer. I'm like, yo, I started this water bottle brand, and I think it might grow and be something. But before I, you know, print this name on or laser etch this name on all these bottles, like I need to, you know, find out if, you know, if somebody owns this name already. So we did a trademark search, and then it comes back that like this company Camelback, which is like a big,
Yeah.
you know, big like outdoor brand, they own the name Antidote for like this backpack water joint that they got. And so my lawyer was like, yeah, don't use that name. So like I had literally 24 hours to come up with another name, because my factory was like, yo, these bottles are done. They have to go. Like, you gotta,
Right.
we have to finish printing these to meet your deadline. So I'm like, oh, fuck. So I'm up all night just like trying to figure out like, yo, I'm like, all right, we're about hydration. We're about drinking water. And I kept Googling all this stuff about water. And yo, I can't even remember how I landed on the word supplement. It was more so I was like, what's the most important things for the body? And then it said then I saw a quote that said the most important supplement for the body is water. And I was like, supplement, water, supplement. And then I just like took out some letters to like make it look cooler.
Yeah.
And then I sent it to my lawyer like, yo, can we own this? And then he was like, you can own it. He was like, this joint is free and clear. And then I looked up, then the confirmation was, I was like, let me check Instagram to see if this handle is available. Then I checked it, and it was like, oh, so at supplement, I can own that too. I was like, because that's another big thing, like being able to own it on all, like own the name, the original one, and you ain't got to put like 0.0 or 222. You ain't got to do no extra shit. So I was able to own the exact joint, and then the lawyer was like, yeah, you can own this, the trademark this. So I was just like, oh, this is it. This is the one.
And that's a dope story. Supplement, because that goes with anything. Like, when you think about working out, whatever, what they do, they take their supplements and like, I got to carry that water bottle.
It's a name that you already know. Like, it's already in your vocabulary. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, what can we expect from you for the next? What can we expect from you in the future, man? Like, what's the most recent stuff coming? What can we expect from you in the future for the brand, for yourself, as a CEO, as a founder?
Trying to put on, man. We got new sizes coming out. Got the 32-ounce bottle that fits in a cup holder.
Yeah,
that's coming out, man. We working on designing some coolers. It's just so much stuff, man. Just like with the continued support of the culture, continued support of people like appreciating what we're doing and seeing the effort that we put in behind our product and supporting us, it allows us to really grow and accomplish those things. So just be on the lookout for us pushing hydration in urban communities. Hopefully by the end of the year, doing our first, we want to be able to put out our first filtration system somewhere. We can give that those mobile hydration stations. As well as just like, growing and expanding the line, you know what I mean, getting into the cooler thing. And we want to probably host like a little event, you know what I mean? Like maybe, I don't know if it's going to be like a run or something, but to try to just get the culture all together with their bottles and drinking water and doing something active, you know what I mean? So definitely.
Now, definitely. And tell the listeners, the followers, where they can find you on social media. Give them personal social media and your business social media.
Yeah. My business social media is @SUPLMNT, and we spell it SUPLM as in Mary, N as in Nancy, T. And that's us on all platforms, even on Facebook, on TikTok. We just now getting on TikTok, so don't be worried to follow. We got to figure that out. Then my personal, I'm Jarius Morris. It's just that on Instagram. So
well,
look me up.
We appreciate you pulling up to the pod, pulling up to the compound, man. This is, like I said, a new episode of the Face of the Future podcast featuring Jarius Morris. Check out his brand and supplements. Great conversation. And tune into more, man. Peace.
Oh my God, is that the Faces of the Future?